talk
shut
about
up
them.
back. I didn't interrupt you. Shut the fuck up.
Don't tell me to shut the fuck up and don't use that language. Don't use that language with me.
That language and you're killing people.
More than 14 million meals have been provided by Israel.
All of the Israeli cabinets have genocidal language.
Egyptian Republic refusing to receive refugees.
And your own soldiers posting on TikTok bragging about killing children. But of course, yeah, the entire planet is having a mass hallucination.
And why are they so inhumane and cruel?
The most vegetarian serial killer in history.
I was immediately accused of being a Jew hater and an anti-Semite.
Really? Do you condemn Hamas? Seriously?
Your voice is annoying.
Today's debate, I'm joined by two very familiar contributors whose insights we value and respect. Jonathan Kouroukos is a former IDF spokesman and combat commander. Bاسm Yusuf is a satirist, a former surgeon, and a figurehead of the pro-Palestinian movement. Jonathan Kouroukos, first of all, your reaction to this pretty unprecedented news that two Israeli senior ministers have effectively been sanctioned by some of Israel's closest allies.
Yeah, it puts into question if it really is a close ally. And I think I'm very disappointed. I think it is egregious. I think it's wrong. I think it is unfair and probably impossible standards that are only applied against Israel. And I think it is very unhelpful for the UK and a few other countries to gang up against Israel. Specifically what you quoted Bezalel Smotrich saying, when it comes to humanitarian aid, I think there's a bit of irony here that he is now sanctioned after he himself, as Minister of Finance, signed the budget that pays for humanitarian aid that is now being delivered to Gazans. As far as I know, more than 14 million meals have been provided by Israel without Hamas or their front organization UNRWA being able to touch, contaminate, all in the stranglehold that Hamas has over the Palestinian population. I've read so many tweets and statements by so-called humanitarians who claim to care about food and the humanitarian situation in Gaza. They are the same people who are now saying that this humanitarian effort by Israel isn't enough and that they don't support it. And I think that they don't support it because it doesn't support the UNRWA mechanism that is in place, that keeps Hamas in place, and because it is perhaps the beginning of the end for Hamas.
You guys are talking about these two ministers as if this is the exception. I mean, like all of the Israeli cabinets have genocidal language. And Mr. Joonathán Kouroukos on the other side, he's like saying that they represent their constituents, which means the whole society, the whole community is genocidal. I think like we're asking the wrong question. We should be asking like, instead of what we do, we should start asking, why are we funding this? Why is my tax money, $30 billion to date, went to Israel to buy 2,000 pounds bombs and F-35s to dump Palestinians? If Israel wants to defend itself, let it defend itself by itself, not with my money. If one politician in the EU, in Britain, in America was paid with bribed by Russian money, oh my God, you're going to have 6-month wall-to-war coverage, foreign interference, democracy, imperial corruption. But with Israel, crickets, complete radio silence. Because this is the real question, right? Because you would spend 3 hours talking about if this is a proportionate response, but we'll not talk about 3 minutes. Why is my money, why is hurricane relief funds in Carolina, in America, are going to fund Israel? Also, like, I don't understand the relationship between America and Israel. It's like, it's the most effed up situation ever. We're like the world's most pathetic sugar daddy. We give them billions of dollars and they shit on us. Like Mr. Joonathán said, now we're ganging on them. We're not helpful. Dude, we gave you $30 billion to bomb children and it's not enough for you. Like, I mean, at least when you pay a dominatrix, you know that you're getting fucked. But this is just America having a public humiliation king while getting fucked, and they call this foreign policy. They are arresting American students on American soils for protesting Israeli war crimes. What the hell, man? This is like your crack whore making you beat your children for calling her what she is, a whore. This is what really boggles me in America. But when it comes to Israel, everybody competes to be Israel's favorite bitch. Republicans hate handouts unless it's for Israel. And Democrats They love human rights and listen for the Palestinians. Every question lies on him. انتوا Hamas. يعني at least flat earthers, they make things interesting. You guys are boring. You are like the same thing. I left all of this. I left the media because of this. Every day, the same question, the same thing. Dude, nobody believes you. You are liars.
Well, I could choose to respond to many things. I could respond to your foul language. I could respond to how low you speak. I could respond to your nonsense rhetoric. And basically, I think it shows that you've been out of the business for a while because you're repeating, regurgitating a lot of stuff that's really old. I think you should update your poison. All of the things you said they're quite low level. They're not very impressive. I've heard it a million times and it's quite childish. It's interesting for me to hear that from an Egyptian. Last time I checked, Egypt is the second largest beneficiary of American money. And if you reportedly really care about your tax money, then have you asked yourself why the US is providing so much money to Egypt and what the US gets in return? And what I would like to know is why is the Arab Egyptian Republic refusing to receive refugees, their Arab Muslim brothers from Gaza, and why are they so inhumane and cruel and preventing poor Gazans from escaping a war zone? You're more confident in bashing Israel and talking conspiracy theories. But let's talk about Egypt. Let's talk about their responsibility. Let's talk about US funds to Egypt. Let's talk about their cruelty. Let's talk about how they have prevented humanitarian access to Gaza.
Egypt
and I appreciate
takes
that.
1/3 of the aid that Israel receives, while Egypt have 10 times the population. Egypt never received $30 billion to murder children and bomb hospitals. Egypt was never allowed to have the privilege of having more than 58 vetoes in the Security Council, right? And also, why doesn't Egypt take Palestinians? This is like someone going into Fifth Avenue, shooting someone in the face, and it's like, why do the neighbors don't bury the body? You're the guys doing the killing. Stop the Zionizing. Zionizing, it's a verb, which means to gaslight someone with such shameless, narcissistic, psychopathic audacity that you deny reality to their faces while simultaneously playing the victim, engaging in endless circle debates that go nowhere and displaying a complete loss of empathy and basic humanity, right? Remember, Piers, why the first video went viral? Because I called Israel a narcissistic, psychopathic behavior that fucks you over and then makes you think it's your fault. Because this is what Israel does. It didn't happen. And if it did, you're remembering it wrong. And if you're not, it's your fault because you're looking into my phone. And when it comes back and when you corner them, they throw tantrums, accusation, Hamas, anti-Semitism, full victimhood mood. And it's pointless to debate with them, right? Because take him, for example, and the likes of him. You show them a video, it didn't happen. You show them UN reports, these are lies. You mention international law, it's complicated. You get testimonies on the ground from doctors and nurses at Hamas propaganda. We saw it with our own eyes. Your optic nerve is anti-Semitic. There is no point of debating gaslighters. We have 4K videos, satellite imagery, and your own soldiers posting on TikTok bragging about killing children. But of course, yeah, the entire planet is having a mass hallucination. Right? I'll give you an example how Dululu is Israel, right? They call themselves the most vegan army in the world. So Joonathán here is representing an organization that is both vegan and genocidal. Yani we will not eat chicken, but inshallah, we will bomb a hospital and barbecue it. Do you see how fucked up is this? This is like calling Jeffrey Dahmer the most vegetarian serial killer in history. Does any army in the world call itself moral? This is another trait of narcissistic psychopathic behavior.
I would take away from that something that you and I, Joonathán, have reached agreement about, which is it remains appalling to me that international media and journalists are not allowed into Gaza. There are no independent journalists from outside allowed in to ascertain the facts. And of course, nearly 200 Palestinian journalists have been killed.
I remember having this conversation with you, same story about media, and I remember telling you, Piers, that I will personally see you in the Gaza Strip. I don't think that what you say is true, and I don't think that all of the allegations that you make, some of them are directly unfounded. 3 months of starvation, that is nonsense. That is absolute nonsense. You did your monologue.
You say nonsense, but there was a three. You don't keep talking.
And if you'll allow
there was
me to
a 3-month blockade of food
Piers.
and aid. You accept that?
Yeah, I will tell you what there was. There was before that a ceasefire which was violated by Hamas. Hamas refused to hand over those hostages and to continue the ceasefire. During the ceasefire, Israel literally pumped the Gaza Strip with international aid, because those were the conditions of the aid.
What happened when the ceasefire?
And when the ceasefire ended, Israel stopped allowing that because fighting continued.
And Israel killed 300 people. They killed 300 people the next day. And you launched, and the Israeli government launched a 3-month blockade of food and aid. These are simple facts.
And Israel did indeed stop providing aid to its
that's all
enemy
I said. So
and
what
to
did I
the
say that was wrong?
population there. But it was not a tactic of starvation. And nobody is starving in Gaza. That is a complete fabrication. And if you speak about 4K evidence and all of that, Bاسم mentioned a lot of nonsense, but you speak about evidence. You know how many videos I've seen of fat Gazans, of fat Hamas fighters, of overweight Gazans? Allow me to question and doubt everything that you say, Mr. Comedian Bاسم. And because you don't have standing, you don't have knowledge, you're outdated, you're repeating. I'll give you credit for saying catchy things and sound bites. You do that very well. But in terms of actually knowing what's going on in Gaza, you have no clue. You're a complete uneducated person who is just regurgitating monologues and catchy names and popular culture at
And you
Israel,
don't think
but
the branding
no
Gazans a bunch of fat
Gaza.
people who aren't starving? You think that's not a catchy little phrase?
This is the
to get
funniest
attention.
shit I've ever heard.
I mean, come on.
Like,
Really, Joonathán? You're reduced to saying that all Gazans are so overfed, they're all fat. Come on, man.
Send them treadmills and pelotons.
Piers, the only really skinny people that I've seen in Gaza, you know who they were? They were Israeli hostages that were starved by Hamas. They are the only skinny people, malnourished and tortured people that I've seen coming out of Gaza. They are the only ones that have been really... All the other ones that I've seen, and believe me, I have watched hours and hours of footage of Gaza that none of you have taken the time to watch, and I've seen a lot of healthy and some of them, yes, overweight.
To verify whether there are actually any starving people in Gaza. Why don't you, if you're so right, and all the Gazans are incredibly fat from all the extra food they've been eating.
No, that's not what I said.
You did,
Piers,
actually.
I didn't
then
say
why
that.
don't you let the journalists...
No, I didn't say that. I said that I've
journalists
seen
in,
fat
and we can
Gazans.
analyse just how many fat people in Gaza there are who've been overfed in the last few months. But we can't verify it, can we? You won't let journalists get in to verify it.
I've spoken for 3 minutes, or even less. So first of all, Israel is known, they have broken more international laws than Diddy has violated young rappers, right? This is bullshit, right? This is the problem with debating with pathological liars than him. It's like trying to nail jelly to the wall. It's messy, it's pointless, and everybody watching knows that you're wasting your time. Reality for them is another opinion. War crimes becomes allegation, genocide becomes a conflict, dead children becomes casualties in a very sad, it's like crazy, right? They're here to waste time while people die. So you don't debate with pathological liars. Do you practice in the mirror this victim voice? This is crazy. And also, let's talk about journalists. How many times Israel killed journalists? And then it's like, it didn't happen. It wasn't us. No, it was us. But it's an accident.
Let's talk about journalists, Bاسم. Yeah, let's talk about journalists, by all means.
Don't interrupt me.
Indeed, about Hamas.
Let's talk about... Yeah. Again,
don't use that language with me. Try to keep it civilized. Do it for a second. Try to keep it civilized.
Civilized. Okay, حبيبي ماشي. المهم. Anyways, let's talk about journalists. Let's talk about journalists. How many times they killed journalists, right? And how many times they denied it, then say, it's Hamas. It was not us. It was a mistake. We will investigate. And let's talk about journalists back. Let's talk about Asa Winstanley, a British journalist in London. His house was raided by British police for writing and exposing Israeli war crimes, for exposing their claims on October 7th, for exposing the rape hoax. He debunked the rape hoax. He exposed the Hannibal Directive. This is a guy sitting in London talking about a foreign country, and he was raided by British police. So I want to ask everybody who cares about freedom of expression, including you, Piers, shouldn't you be worried that one of your nationals, a British journalist, he shares your same profession, to be raided by London police for writing about a foreign country? What does this tell you about England? What does this tell you about Israel?
So let me ask you a question, Baasim. Let me ask you a question, because I've given Joonaathan a hard time. I think he's deserved it after some of the things he said. The Israelis say, and have said from the start, all that has to happen is Hamas release the remaining hostages. Why don't they release the hostages? And do you condemn them for not releasing them?
This is the problem.
Is that going hard on him, Piers? Really? Do you condemn Hamas? Seriously?
Your voice is annoying. Stop. Your voice
so
is
yours, but that's okay.
Maybe.
But I manage.
I know. But you know what? People pay to come to my shows. They won't pay to come to yours. Anyways, so here's the thing. Let's talk about credibility. Like, this is what Israel claims. Why would I believe anything that Israel says?
Piers, did you ask him a question, or is this another monologue?
I simply said, why haven't they released the hostages? And do you condemn Hamas for not releasing them?
Do you condemn Hamas? Yes, I condemn Hamas. This is great. Even if they have hostages, even if Hamas was a vampire sucking baby's blood, what is happening there is not justifiable. I'm not a Hamas representative. I cannot speak for them. But we all know that Hamas has agreed. And Israel comes. No. Israel has sabotaged this deal many times based on testimonies from inside the Israeli government and from the family of the hostages.
I'm not releasing them.
I condemn Hamas for not releasing the country, and I condemn Israel for keeping more than 25,000 hostages in Israel. Half of them is women and children, right? And it is, again, let me go back to my point. Credibility. Israel has lied many times. You have the Prime Minister of Israel, Benjamin Netanyahu, went in front of the UN right before they bombed Lebanon, and he said every house in South Lebanon, in their kitchen, in their garage, harbors a missile for Hezbollah. If this is not comedy, what is this?
I can tell you that I've seen it with my own eyes. Yes, I have seen tunnels underneath houses in Lebanon.
It's fine.
Shut the fuck up. Always deeply hurt state. While doing that, they're doing that while holding the gun. Israel is what happens when you give a very advanced military to a Karen. But Israel is the only place where you can bulldoze a house and then sue you for scratching the tank. But dude, nobody, everybody knows that you're lying.
How many international
why would you unqualify them?
You killed them.
You
killed them.
I said, how many international journalists are in Gaza?
All of the major networks are reporting from Gaza.
If you don't like the reporting from Gaza, then let international journalists in. But you won't. And there's only one reason you won't. Because you don't want journalists. You don't want journalists to actually report what's happening. You would rather smear all Palestinian journalists. You keep questioning the integrity of Palestinian journalists who are getting killed in large numbers, record numbers, in fact. But you won't let the international journalists in.
And I will continue to do that, Piers. Yes, and I will continue to question the veracity.
We've got to a place in this war where Israel denies or casts doubt over anything that happens which reflects negatively on the IDF or the Israeli government.
I think journalists and editors have responsibility for the lies that they spread and for the anti-Semitism that they help flame.
You name it, people are queuing up to criticize the Israeli government. But when I did it, despite having defended Israel's right to defend itself for many, many months, as Baasim knows, we argued about it. It is a deliberate campaign to shut me up. It was a deliberate campaign to stop me criticising the Israeli government by branding me a Jew-hating anti-Semite, which anyone who's watched this show from the start of this war knows is complete nonsense.
You know that the criticism against you wasn't because you have criticism against Israel. It was because how you spoke to Natasha.
Which I make no apology for, by the way. She is a barrister for a group called Lawyers for Israel. She's not an impartial horse in the race. She's in the wrong job. Right, Baasim, your response to Joonaathan.
First of all, Piers, welcome to the behavior of narcissistic psychopath. They love bomb you, and then when you make a single criticism about them, they go all flip like bad shit on you. Welcome, Habibi. Also, like Joonaathan, overuses the word anti-Semitism so much, it's like a used condom at this point. Completely stretched out, lost all its protection, and nobody wants to touch it anymore. Joonaathan uses Hamas more like a crackhead uses excuses. right? And let me tell you about like things from the ground. I'm coming to London, by the way, 19th of July. There is a big concert called Voices for Solidarity. They are organized by health workers for Palestine, right? These are people that were on the ground and they saw with their own eyes and they have testimony. I would love you to actually host some of them. So if you want people from the ground, so they tell. But of course, it's going to be like Hamas propaganda and all of that. And also, like what's like really have been bothering me about all of this is the reset. It's as if the media is living its own Groundhog Day. Everything resets, right? Like Western media has the attention of a TikTok algorithm. Every discussion starts from zero. Every crime exists in a vacuum. Every pattern is like coincidence. Like, oh my God, those Israelis there had really bad luck with these accidental hospital bombing. What the hell? 40 hospitals bombed, and we discuss 41 as it's a new development. Right? It's like covering a serial killer, new 20th victim without checking the 19 victims in the freezer. This is not covering the story. This is covering up the story. And here's the thing. Nobody believes you, Israel. Nobody believes you. Nobody likes you. No matter how much media covers for you, no matter how much politicians you buy to parrot your talking points, no matter how many fake influencer you hire to whitewash your face, no matter how many fake Indian-based accounts that tweets for you, no matter how many European models you bring in and you pay them so they can dance with the IDF uniform, right? That everybody can see you, everybody can smell your bullshit, right? You are like the neighbor who firebombs everybody's house and he's sad why he's not invited to a house party, right? You will win in the battlefield. You will get more land. Because America supports you. It's like supporting a rabid dog that shits on your lawns and eats your cats and bites everybody. And it's like, oh, it's just like you have a bad day. You will win, maybe, on the battlefield. But everybody knows who you are. A bunch of heartless, psychopathic, demonic assholes.
Despite that very foul language and what he just said, I will gladly invite you and your grandchildren to come visit Israel in 70 years. Maybe you and I won't be here, but maybe our grandchildren will. They will come to see a flourishing, democratic, free, despite haters and many other people. They will see that we will continue to live in our ancestral homeland. We will continue to nourish it and love it, and we will continue to prosper and live here despite people like you.
All right, but I would also like in 70 years' time to see exactly the same for the people in Gaza who are Palestinians. And
that's their choice.
And that has been
their choice.
Okay,
they can have it.
I would like to see that.
Choice.
I would like to see that kind of utopia for them as well.
So would I.
And for them to enjoy the same human rights that you and I enjoy. I've got to leave it there.